Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode 390 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. We are here in Philly, the Wells Fargo Center, for the first episode of the new ECW. Now, as I said at the end of King of the Ring, this is going to be 2 hours, at least for now, and then I was like, after King of the Ring, I'm going to make them all 2 hours. Booking this show, I think I may have them all be 3, because this show seems really short. Especially for the style that ECW is gonna be. Like, Heyman will explain it all in the opening segment. But, like, I feel like this isn't gonna be a very long video. And, like, I want to get more content out of it. And if I'm whizzing through the whole thing in 10 minutes, then I feel like... Anyway, we'll see how it goes. They could all be 3 hours, they could all be 2 hours, who knows? But what we do know is that tonight we're going to see some of the first names confirmed for the new ECW. This isn't all of them, because some of their contracts will be in play until after SummerSlam, which is the kayfabe quote-unquote explanation is I want to finish off some of the storylines I've got going on before I split them up. But yeah, there is a couple of names here that I've teased for the last couple of weeks that will be on ECW. And yeah, without any more further ado, though, it's time to get extreme. Paul Heyman, I imagine it's a cold open. Heyman's just in the middle of the ring. The lights are dimmed, and then the lights come on, and Heyman's just in the ring, and the crowd's going ECW, 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 and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and welcome back to ECW. Now, before we get into the festivities tonight, it's time to see how ECW as a brand will have evolved over the past 25 years. You see, when we first broke onto the scene, when I first took charge of ECW, I was saying, screw you to authority. But now, we're $1 billion company, and I've got sponsors to adhere to. So, to get ECW approved, we need to lay out the land of what you can expect on such an evening. Usually, fans of ECW here in Philadelphia would expect violence, and make no bones about it, there will still be violence. But as the world of sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling have evolved over the past decade, 2 decades plus, ECW needs to not look dated, needs to have evolved with the times, and needs to remain relevant and cool and the best damn promotion for everybody watching. So here on ECW, you're going to see less sports entertainment and more professional wrestling. Because here on ECW, we don't care what your background is, where you are and what you're from. You're going to come here and you're going to put in the work. You could see luchadors, lucha libre stars from AAA, who I hear WWE has just purchased. You could see stars from Japan, from NXT Japan. You could see stars from the United Kingdom and NXT UK and all across Europe. You could see the best professional wrestlers in this company, day in and day out, doing what they do best, wrestling in this ring. So, I answer to all of you in the back, all of you who've accepted me as your new leader and accepted my vision for what this company shall become. Which one of you thinks you have the balls to step up, be extreme, and spearhead this new era of ECW? Watch me. Out comes Liv Morgan. I imagine she has the, in real life she changed her theme recently to, like, a more edgy, quote-unquote, one when she started doing that phase where she was going crazy. She'll debut that theme here, and we'll put that slight extreme edge, like she's going extreme and going insane just to fit in on ECW. The first match here on ECW will be a Fatal 4-Way women's match. Liv Morgan, Hikaru Shida, Shotzi Blackheart, and Ruby Riott, 4 women who you'll be able to see on this show going forward. But yeah, to elaborate more on what I was saying with Heyman in the opening segment, this can't be, ECW, the blood, death match, all that shit. Because A, I don't like that, so I don't want to book that, and B, it's just dated to me. So, like, I think Heyman has spoken before, like, what he wanted ECW to be when WWE brought it back in 2006. As, like, a cross between developmental and main roster, but, like, more of that indie feel. And then, like, when he was going to take over TNA in 2010, he wanted to do more of that, get rid of, like, the old guard, move the new guard in, and, like, focus on, like, the young, good wrestler people. So that's basically just the vibe, whereas there'll be My Wrestling Academia and Chase U and Tony D'Angelo and Titus World Records on Raw and SmackDown. There will still be some segments and some funny comedy, but, like, ECW is going to be more just normal, So, in terms of me booking it, to me, this will be the C show because it's not as fun. But it's not being presented as that. It's being presented on the same level, just a different product to Raw and SmackDown. But yeah, so think big budget, like, well, I was going to say think big budget Ring of Honor, but that's just AEW. Basically, think Collision. That's the style of show we're going for here. 83 opening match. This is a Fatal 4-Way. And the reason I made it a Fatal 4-Way specifically is so that Liv can use weapons. Not every match will be no disqualification, but there will be a lot less disqualifications on this show because, again, just the style. But again, think Collision, where it's like they've got that referee's discretion thing, and like they can just use weapons and not call it off. Because I do want to establish that we're not going to do any fucking weird bullshit. There will be winners and losers. There'll be very, very, very few no results. Anyway, Liv wins the Fatal 4-Way. I imagine the finish is, she did that big diving senton through a table on somebody. She hits Ruby with that, hits Ruby, puts her through the table, and pins her to win the first match of the new ECW. And Shida, of course, celebrates with her because they are still friends, and they hit each other with kendo sticks really hard because that's what ECW people do. 74 for Liv, 83 for Shida, 72 for Shotzi, and a 71 for Ruby Riott, who has a gimmick that's getting stale. That's fine. You can fix that after. We then come to the back, and then when we get back, Liv... I imagine, like... I've thought this in my head. Like Raw and SmackDown have the actual interview area, and then I a lot of the times do the walking through the hallway and interviewer catches up to a wrestler angle. I imagine there's like a dedicated like post-match like interview box or something where like the interviews for it might even be on the stage. I'm still playing around with ideas in my head. Feel free to leave your own if you want. I want to like to like because I didn't want to do a third brand, but I was challenged to. So if I'm going to do it, I may as well make this, the people's brand. And like if you've got like ways you think you can be different or like I'm still trying to work things out in my head and tweak things as we go along, but we move. So wherever this mysterious post-match interview box, because sort of like a B-Tech, like New Japan press room, I guess. But Mackenzie's in there with Liv anyway. We're finally getting onto the actual content here. She's like, congratulations, Liv, you win the first match in the history of the new ECW. And it's like, I told Heyman, I'm ready to get extreme, and people will stop doubting that I can now, after that. Okay, Shida, my best friend, Ruby Riott, my ex-best friend, Shotzi, another incredible badass woman, put it all on the line to prove that ECW will be the place to be for the best women's talent in WWE. And McKinnon's like, well, actually, the reason why I called you in here, it's regarding SummerSlam. And regarding ECW. You see, if we're going to make this brand, we're going to have champions of our own. And this is directly from the words of Paul Heyman. The Fatal 4-Way opening match was to qualify for a shot at the ECW Women's Championship. The inaugural champion will be crowned at SummerSlam. And you're now in that match. And I say, well, what I said, whoever I'm against, they won't be able to see me coming because I'm going to leave it all on the line to win that title. And McKinnon goes, well, I actually can tell you your opponent if you want, because Heyman says this is a person who he signed to ECW to be one of the pioneer stars of its women's division, and he believes that they're owed a championship opportunity that they didn't get recently. So, Liv Morgan, it'll be you and Julia one-on-one at SummerSlam for the ECW Women's Championship. And Liv just sort of smiles and is like I said, I'm ready for anyone. And she walks off. So yeah, Julia versus Liv, ECW Championship match, or Women's Championship. Again, like I said, I'm still tweaking with ideas in my head, because I know what you're thinking. Cardinal, didn't you just get rid of the branded Women's Championships? Yes, but I sort of, at the same time, want this to feel different from Raw and SmackDown. So, you know, we'll have the at the minute, they're branded as the ECW Championships. And then, like, I will just exclude the champions in the draft when that time comes. So, like, yeah. But then, obviously, the belts without names can now float between wherever. But again, this is all an idea I'm playing with. I was tempted to go Men's and Women's Universal Championship, but that doesn't scream ECW to me. So, speaking of things that scream ECW, like I said, I had to elaborate in the opening segment that there will still be some funny comedy stuff, and it won't just be completely, like, straight. Because Karrion Kross, of course, is here. He goes, you shut that screen off right now. Listen here, kids. A lot of you aren't even kids. You're just grown-up man-children who never grew out of being mentally children and like seeing people in ECW smash chairs over each other's heads and bleed. Well, guess what? I like that too. So this place feels like home to me. And Heyman said there's going to be less violence now that we've got a billion-dollar company and we've got sponsors to adhere to. Kid, listen up. I don't listen to sponsors, kid. I hate corporate worlds. Now, a bunch of suits out there can't tell me not to end lives in this ring. Because I am the most extreme man here on this brand. And if there's anybody in the back there who thinks they're more extreme than me, come out and say it to my face and I'll put you down. Nothing personal, kid. Out comes RVD. Again, funny story, of course. Already had him slated to be coming back here because I wanted an ECW original to return on this show. And I was like, well, RVD is the one who makes the most sense. And obviously Tony Khan agrees with me because that's the one he picked to wrestle on AEW. And he did alright. So that I was completely sold. I was like, yeah, it's RVD. It's not going to be the fucking Sandman. Yes, but RVD's back. He gets a poor rating for his gimmick. And his match with Karrion Kross gets a 70. And RVD does beat Karrion Kross with a 5-star frog splash. Big pop from the ECW fans. One of their men is back here and picks up a win. 59 for RVD, 75 for Mr. Cold Steel himself, Karrion Kross. Then see, there's going to be a lot of these on ECW as well. Especially if it's only 2 hours. Because I'm going to want to feature more people on the shows. And the video packages will be the best way to do it. It's the Hurt Business training in the Raw Underground ring. It's like, I know what you're thinking. MVP. Another fresh start for the Hurt Business. Man, shut your dumb ass up and listen here. You see, Extreme Championship Wrestling, a brand that the almighty Bobby Lashley knows all too well. He's actually been a champion in ECW. And Paul Heyman, he says he wants violence on his show. He wants extreme. But they don't come more extreme than the Hurt Business. Because if you really want to kickstart this third brand, you give us a call and business will be booming. If you then get another pre-tape, we're in a garage, and like there's like a fuck ton of like expensive cars, big trucks and shit in there, and then in a suit and sunglasses walks Mr. Zion Quinn, and he goes, "Hello there, WWE Universe. My name is Zion Quinn. I know what you're thinking when you first laid eyes on me for the first time. What a man. Okay. Well, stay tuned for my arrival here on ECW. A new era of WWE and a new era of manlyhood. Because a lot of you betas can learn a thing or two watching an alpha like me get rich, be successful, and get laid." And he pushes his sunglasses back off and he walks off. So yes, Zion Quinn, a character I'm actually very, very excited to introduce to the series, because I've got a lot of fun ideas for him. If you can't tell who he's parodying based off just that one segment alone, then I'm sure it'll become more obvious as the weeks go by. 85 Tag Team Motherfucking Wrestling here on ECW. Emerson Frost and King Cobain of the Grand Jury are here, of course. Heyman's spoken to the Grand Jury, and I guess also the Grizzled Drunk Veterans, because they're here. And in a great match, Emerson Frost and Ken Cobain pick up the first tag team victory here on ECW. They beat the Grizzled Drunk Veterans in 11:48. Ken Cobain pinched Jagger Reed with a House of Cards. 80 for Ken, 82 for Emerson, 78 for Jagger, 79 for Rip. And then after the match, Dolph Ziggler and Damian Priest are out there, and then they get into the ring. And Ziggler goes, "Woo-hoo! I tell you, it feels good, guys. You know, this show, this is our show, you know. Look, it's purple and black, you know, just like us, just like the Grand Jury, okay? And, you know, listen here, DP." He calls Priest over, and Priest walks up, he goes, "From me to you, I know we were having problems on SmackDown, but we're all sort of like getting in each other's heads. Like, we're all sort of, none of us were thinking straight. This is a new era of the Grand Jury here on this new brand. And we're going to be the faces of this brand. We're going to carry this brand to the very top of WWE. And to do that, we need to all be in unison. We need to all be as one." And Priest takes the mic. And he goes, "Dolph, you know, I appreciate you taking the time to address the issues. And obviously, King of the Ring, every man for himself. I get that. So here it is. ECW Grand Jury. The purple and black on the Extreme show. It's time to start a new era. It's time to start a new era and go forward and be the best men that we can be. And that will require Dolph leaving all of the issues and the problems of the group behind." And he issues a handshake out to Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph Ziggler shakes his hand. And he goes, yeah, DP, yeah. Then Ziggler goes to leave, but Priest still got a hold of his hand. And he pulls Ziggler back in, and he goes, "Which is you?" And he grabs Ziggler by the throat with a chokeslam. He hits that south of heaven. And Emerson Frost and King Cobain then attack Dolph Ziggler as well. King Cobain hits the fold on Dolph Ziggler. Emerson Frost probably, I don't know what Chris Bay's finisher is, probably something diving. If he can do a Phoenix Splash, probably that. And then, to add insult to injury, to really cement this as the most dastardly move you've ever seen in your life. I can't even get these words out, I'm getting choked up. Damian Priest is going to rip off Dolph Ziggler's purple bandana and rip it up. Probably shove it down his throat as well. And then Priest, Cobain and Frost leave together. We then get just a quick video package. This one, she's not talking, it's like showing Blair Davenport. She's her matches from around the world, from Japan to NXT UK to NXT, and she's going to be making her main roster debut here on ECW coming up next. Oh my goodness gracious me, Yoko. Okay. Yoko Uehara and Blair Davenport. Yoko's been unbranded for a while because it's been her and Kamiko as a tag team. Maybe I should stop. Maybe she should become a focal point of ECW because she's really fucking good. But of course, Blair does win in her debut, and this is what I mean about ECW. Okay, like you could debut her in a squash against a nobody, or you could do like the AEW style debut where two women just go out there and smack each other, have a really good match, and prove that they're both good. Both are equally as effective, by the way. I'm not like saying one's better than the other. Like they are. It just depends on the wrestler, really. 54 for Blair, 81 for Yoko. And yeah, Blair Davenport does win her ECW debut, but we would then get a graphic throughout the night. The main event of this show will be one man we knew basically was on his way over here, that being Cesaro, will main event against Kyle O'Reilly. But first, we get Mustafa Ali. He's walking through the streets, and he says, when I was younger, for a lot of reasons, a lot of people looked at me as the enemy. A lot of people looked at me and judged me on my looks and isolated me from what I could truly be because I didn't look the same and I didn't fit into a mold. And that's why growing up, I was always an ECW guy. Because ECW felt like home to me. It felt like a place where I could do whatever I want to do and be whoever I want to be. So if ECW coming back and Heyman offering me a spot, you know I had to be there. And now, ECW fans, get ready, because one of your own is coming. And I'm just going to be Mustafa goddamn Ali and show the world why I am that good. 93 rated main event. That's the thing about Kyle O'Reilly is he's a mid-carder in my world, but I knew this would do great because he is still very good. Maybe ECW might be the perfect place for him, actually. Of course, Roddy is also one here as well, because they were drafted as a tag team. Bobby Fish, of course, still on SmackDown. Where's the lie? But yes, it is Cesaro who beats Kyle O'Reilly in 1855 in the main event for, Cesaro getting a 93, Kyle O'Reilly getting an 88, and a 93 for Cesaro. No, not 90 for Cesaro, 90 for the match. And a big win for Cesaro. Lost the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Bryan seems to think that he snaked him while going over here. Bryan not on ECW, of course, if that wasn't painfully obvious. Cesaro here by himself. But then Heyman comes back out after the match. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to the first episode of the new ECW. I haven't mentioned it, but it's just randomly come to me now. The announced team for ECW is Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness, moved over from SmackDown. Raw's is still, I believe, Tom Phillips and Kingsley Queen, Caprice Coleman. And SmackDown's is now Michael Cole and Samoa Joe. Because Joe is retired in the game, so he's a color commentator on SmackDown. Eventually, at some point, I'll probably talk him out of retirement, and then he'll get involved in an angle. But those are the teams for now. So it's Mauro and Nigel on ECW. That felt the most ECW to me. Because ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you all for coming to the first episode of the relaunched ECW. A lot of great talent on display tonight. I hope you've all picked out your new favorite wrestler on ECW. And then he pauses. He goes, well, I don't. Because I'd like to think you've kept that spot open. Because we've seen a lot of great wrestlers on this brand. A lot of great WWE superstars on this brand. A lot of potential big stars here in ECW. But can you really point at any one man you've seen tonight and say, that's the guy? That's the face of this brand. That's the face that's going to be on all the posters. That's the face that's going to carry this brand to the top alongside Raw and SmackDown. I don't think we've seen that face. But fear not, because that face is here on ECW. And ladies and gentlemen, those of you that have known me for years know I like shrewd business. And I like to play dirty when the world plays dirty with Paul Heyman. So, yes, it is great to have ECW back on the map. But there is an ulterior motive around the launch of ECW. Because, ladies and gentlemen, WWE has not been the same over the past few months. There's been a big void here in WWE over the past few months. And now, with my ruling over this show, I can bring in whoever I damn well want. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Please rise, Philadelphia, and thanks for having me. And please welcome the new face of ECW, the most extreme professional wrestler on earth, the greatest champion in professional wrestling history, your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Roman comes out, Usos in tow, boos. Because, it's ECW and he's Roman Reigns. Heyman has conned a lot of people here. But the Tribal Chief and the Usos are back. Banned from SmackDown back at Judgment Day. Heyman had a plan that whole time. Heyman started scheming this the week after, 5 days after Judgment Day. There was always an ulterior motive. Never trust a carny piece of shit like Paul Heyman. And then Roman Reigns and the Usos get in the ring and them and Paul Heyman just raise their ones in the air. And that is how the first episode of ECW goes off air. 93. 27 minutes this went, which half of it was me, was recording that wouldn't need to happen every week. So yeah, they are probably going to be shorter at 2 hours. I'll probably have a better idea. I've got 4 episodes of this to do before SummerSlam, so I'll probably have a better idea of what exactly the length I want is. Maybe 2.5. Maybe 2.5 hours will be the best. And yeah, but what matters more than the 93 is what you thought of the show. More than ever, what you thought of this. Because like I said, this is still a work in progress. I'm still tinkering with a lot of things, so if you have any ideas for things you think will make ECW feel different, then do let me know. But I'll see you next time for SmackDown, which is going to have a lot of big things on it, because both King and Queen of the Ring are on SmackDown, and we have a new Women's World Champion. So, busy show. But for now, I'll see you then.